And this was my circuit I just did. This is a follow-up video, and I found actually one of my old projects I did in 1992 or 93, I believe. It was very similar to this, and it was this. Now, what this guy did is it took a battery. This was a cell phone battery, camcorder battery. It was very popular during the 90s, and you can pretty much find them everywhere, even in Radio Shack. And this is actually made out of old parts that I got from my dad's work back at HNU Systems. So this is why this is an HNU battery. These guys are still around and still in business. They still do chemical instrumentation and stuff like that. So this was all built with spare parts that cost me $0 to assemble. Because I was a student back then, I didn't have any money, so I got the case. The case was machined out by again HNU Systems. This part, so this is one of my father's designs from a long time ago, and he had it kicking around, so I grabbed it. And this is actually an old Grayhill switch box I got as a sample back in Electro Boston during one of the trade shows in Boston. Plus the switch I think I got there as well during that trade show, and I think also the display. So I got to reuse all that equipment, all that parts. And they used to give away free parts. I don't know if they're still doing that, but it was really nice for the student to go into these trade shows and get parts. It wasn't too uncommon back then. This used the same thing. This is a LM3914, and this one's a little bit different than the one I assembled in the previous video. And when I turn this on, it's apparent you can see why. I primarily made this as a field gear piece of equipment while I was in the Civil Air Patrol, and it was for powering up my radios. And I primarily designed this for nighttime operation. So you can see this LED over here. This is maximum. This is my minimum. And I can figure out the voltage pretty easily. Oop, I went down the opposite way. And if it was full scale, I know I had 14 volts. I had 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. And I didn't care below 9. Because again, this is a lead acid, should only have it drop down to 10.7 maximum, or it'll damage the battery. So this is all these years, and it still works. And that's, of course, is in bar mode. You can also have this in drop mode. I didn't get to demonstrate that in the other video, but that's a blast from the past. This is, it's amazing that it still works. It was in my shed for years and years and years, and I remembered it and pulled it out since I was doing this other circuit in the first video. And nice piece of... So this is actually, I wore this on the side of my ammo belt, and I had it going to a cigarette plug adapter, and it powered up my radios that way. I can power up radios, cell phones, whatever. And I think this was a, how many amp hours was this? 2.3 amp hour battery. So this was pretty heavy back then. Now they have these LiPo batteries. Let me show you. These new LiPo batteries. This guy's a 7 volts at 1,000 milliamp hour. So it's about half the capacity. It's a little less voltage, but look at the difference. The difference in weight. This is the new LiPo versus the sealed lead acid. So a lot more power in these little small packages, a lot lighter. I wish I had these back then. But anyways, charge this guy up. You can float charge it. You can keep it at 12, 13 volts as what they call standby or float charge. And you can pretty much keep it indefinitely at that voltage. But once you start getting around 14 volts or higher, like 14, 15 volts, it goes into a rapid charge, and it starts absorbing bulk current. So you need actually a charger circuit to do that, so you won't overheat the battery and fry it, which I've done before. That's what happened to this guy back here. I overcharged it, fried it, And this is actually a pretty good make. This is called MK battery. And these can ship UPS. You can ship them UPS air as well. They're not restricted for aircraft because they're totally sealed. And a nice battery. I've had these last for about 20 years. I've got a set of 20-year-old MK batteries that I still use today. So, pretty good brand. And they'll ship it to you. They just weigh a ton. But that's a blast from the past on that guy. And I did this when I was 13, 14 years old, I think. Designed this whole thing, built the case, and got all the parts and everything. And that's pretty much it. Still works after all these years.